They have cobbled together as many groups as possible. One of the alliance's youth movement's ambassador, the AYM ambassador, is this gentleman. Now, have we seen this gentleman before? Maajid Nawaz. Well, here he is describing his background and his conversion at last year's conference. Here it is.
I've come from a Islamist background. I spent 13 years in the leadership of an Islamist organization which was anti-democracy and was an extremist organization. I spent time in prison in Egypt as a political prisoner for my affiliation to that group, and I helped establish that group in Pakistan. So after leaving the organization and deciding to work against extremism, I felt that it would be, I suppose, a good thing to go back to Pakistan and try and challenge and reverse some of the extremism that I helped sow in that country.
Praise Jesus. He is part of the Hizb-ut-Tahrir Islamicist movement. Okay. Have we heard of this? Now remember, he was working for 13 years with this group, but then he went to jail and saw the light, and now he's working against them. Let me remind you who this group is. They called for violence against American troops in Afghanistan, saying American actions should be met with the sword, not words of condemnation. In 2007, they got busted for plotting to bomb military and civilian airports in Germany. They carried out attacks against Americans and Israeli embassies in Uzbekistan in 2004. And do you remember the website that we showed you at the top of this program, Khalifa.com? This one, remember this? Yeah. Hizb-ut-Tahrir to the Supreme Council of Egyptian Armed Forces. The second Camp David protector has fallen. Oh, it's great, isn't it? Khalifa.com. In 2009, it was Hizb-ut-Tahrir who was also responsible for this. Remember, Khalifa, Hizb-ut-Tahrir America presents. Where is it, baby? Bring it on. The Khalifa Conference. Caliphate Conference 2009, the fall of capitalism and the rise of Islam. This happened at the Hilton Hotel in Illinois. The conference was called The Fall of Capitalism, the Rise of Islam. They are the same people behind the website we showed you at the top of the hour. But hey, he's reformed, and that's good enough for the State Department. Is it good enough for you? This man was a bad dude, and he says he had a pivot point in prison. That's great. Maybe he has. I can't judge the man's heart. But I do go back to Van Jones, who says exactly the same thing. I had a pivot point. In fact, I believe his pivot point came in prison. Jail. Van Jones said, quote, I am willing to forego the cheap satisfaction of the radical pose for the deep satisfaction of the radical ends. Van Jones hasn't changed anything, but he's put on a suit and a tie, and now he can talk all pretty. Your life is at stake, America, our Western way of life. Do you know enough to say, oh, I'm totally comfortable. If the State Department says he's cool, I'm cool with him. Remember, the State Department has been so good on everything. The Director of Intelligence for our country